Well, this is how the proposed withdrawal plan will work. At the moment, Israeli forces control all areas up to the blue line that you see on your screen. Once both sides agree to the proposal, Israeli forces will withdraw to the line in yellow to prepare for the release of the captives. After all the requirements set out in the U.S. 20-point plan are met and an international stabilization force is deployed, Israeli forces will move further back to the red line. And the final withdrawal will see the Israelis move progressively further back towards the Israeli border. But they will continue to maintain a security buffer zone inside Gaza's borders, including its crossing with Egypt. Menachem Klein will bring you in. You're a professor emeritus of political science at Bar-Ilan University, joining us from West Jerusalem this hour. We know that there has been some reporting over the past few hours by Israel's public broadcaster Kan, which is saying that Israeli officials have told the U.S. that they, in fact, intend to occupy 3 areas in Gaza, quote, for years to come. What does that signal to you about the current Israeli military calculus in the Gaza Strip?
Israel faces rethinking, and the Israeli right wing, especially the extreme right wing, has to say goodbye to its dreams to achieve evacuation of Gaza, deportation, returning settlements inside Gaza, and so on and so forth. So the Israeli right wing is now in a crisis. And the same goes for several army officers, high-rank army officers in a Gaza Strip area. So Israel has to rethink. It seems that most of the Israeli citizens are in favor of the deal because they want to see the hostages back at home. And actually getting back the hostages is the first step in healing the October 7 Israeli psychological wounds. And this will open a long journey for the Israeli public opinion.
Look, usually we hear from the more sort of vocal members of the Netanyahu government, who you're referring to them a moment ago, those that are famously right-wing, right? But this time, the reaction has been somewhat muted. But how does Netanyahu balance that? He needs to appease his far-right coalition, he needs to appease the hostage families, and he also doesn't want to go up against Trump, presumably.
For the Israeli right wing, this is a dream coalition. They will never get a better coalition. So they are not running away from it. Just, let's say, yesterday night, immediately after the Netanyahu agreement for the deal. I assume, I don't have information, but I assume that Netanyahu promised Smotrich and Ben-Gvir, the ultra-rightist ministers, to spoil the agreement, to violate it after the hostages deal, after the hostages are back at home, and resume the war. Indeed, the structure of the agreement is like Oslo agreement, full of, let's say, options for spoilers to expose it, to violate it. And I assume that Netanyahu promised them that he will do his best in order to break it and go back to fighting. But this cannot help the right wing. The right wing thought that the Oslo structure and the end game of a Palestinian state, although in Trump plan is in a very, very far end, but they thought that it's over, that we open a new era. Now they face the same structure, the same problems of conflict management and Oslo-style agreement. Mm-hmm. So they cannot reconcile with it, and the Netanyahu bluff will be exposed sometime in the near future.
And look, Menachem, I mean, despite Trump's very public call to halt the bombardment in Gaza, Israel continues its strikes. On Saturday, at least 70 people were killed. Sunday, the death toll right now is 11 people killed in Gaza. How do you interpret this defiance?
I cannot explain that. The only one thing that crossed my mind is that stopping the bombardment in Gaza is conditioned in the implementation of the agreement, not the principal acceptance by the sides, but the signing on the details, concluding the negotiation, the forthcoming negotiation in Cairo, and starting the implementation. Maybe this is the explanation of the Israeli bombardment. Of course, each side wants to gain points at the last minute. It's always in ceasefire agreement, always each side seeks for victory photo op and creating the perception of winning over the other. Israel is losing in this agreement.
Okay, we will leave it there. Menachem Klein speaking to us from West Jerusalem this hour. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.